So today we're going to talk about how G2 overcame Vitality, and they too, like DRX, are playing a very similar comp here. This seems to be where we are heading in the meta right now, is this kind of idea where we're playing solo Yoru, Breach Teo, a Smokes, which in this case is Brim because we're on Bind, and well, DRX were playing it with the Cypher. G2 are going even kind of more modern, you might say, and playing Vice instead, but this idea of Yoru solo duelist with Teo Breach is just becoming more and more popular because it seems like if you have the capabilities, it can be almost unstoppable. And G2 proved that today because they were in a bad spot. It was 12-8 to Team Vitality, but they would come back to win this map. And so we're going to pick it up with them being down 12-8 with a really nice exec to start off with.
Their map to take at this point. Smokes primed, salvos towards your back. TP4s, and the flash is good. But that connection, safe's not long for the world. Rocket up and over towards the top. Durga was plucked out of the sky.
So straight away you get a good sense of what G2 are going for and how it's just so good, right? And if you watch my DRX video when I was talking about this comp with them, one of the main things I talked about is just the overwhelm potential of this comp, right? Because you see here we got the drone coming out towards showers. There actually isn't anyone behind that. But then the second layer, once this is kind of, proved that, there's nothing too aggressive going on in showers, the second layer is going to come in. Because what we're about to get is really good. So you see the TP starts coming out here. But as we just push this forward now, and you see when Jogma actually takes a TP. So you got the stun coming across the site, right? Which means that, anyone top truck or kind of trying to get aggro pushed up on A, they're not there. You can see the salvos at Safe's feet here as well that he's running into. You've obviously got the TP just here. He's going to now get flashed as we kind of come in for the second wave. You actually have the thorns here as well. And now Jorgamo is TPing up here with the flash. Right, so if you think about it from Safe's perspective, he can't go back because of the salvo, so he has to come forward into the flash where Jorgamo is then TPing into. Any support that he might have close, or, someone from truck as they're scaling up here for G2 is stunned, so they're going to fall back almost certainly. Anyone over here is either going to be trapped in shower or not really be able to help Safe too much either because of the thorns. So you see just like the overwhelm potential here that G2 have, and it gets them that first kill. Now, G2 now do a pretty good job in trading out the Raze ult from Durka and just going 1-for-1 and then surviving the Breach ult, right? So they survive two pretty big ults here as well from Vitality in this round and end up in a 4v3. We then get the TP taken by Kicks. Okay, so now okay, this guy's TP'd, which normally means that the B site might be somewhat empty. So they want to go and kind of explore that and see like, does that mean that there's no one there on B? Or you can see that they're being a bit cautious here. But Les does a really good job in just holding his ground, getting that kill, putting the snakebite down. Les plays this perfectly. However, Trent is also going to play it perfectly by just running through the snakebite. And this is the thing. Sometimes running through a molly is definitely the right choice. And this is one of those examples because Les doesn't necessarily expect anyone to be here this quick. But Trent is there that quick and he's able to get that kill and basically win them the round. Now, they will get a little bit fortunate here, G2, as we run this forward because the timing here of Jorgamo in just a second with Kicks, you're going to see it is, Jorgamo finds a good timing to come in here just as Kicks is about to turn back to him. Jorgamo gets that kill, and of course they will close it out from here. But again, just that initial overwhelm from G2 and then being able to trade it out, that was enough for them to stay in the game. Now, the next round was just an eco for Vitality that G2 converted pretty well, so it's now 12-10. And in this one, we're going to see Vitality, they're going to go for this aggro play down B long with 3 players, right? So how does this comp respond to getting aggroed on?
He's making sure to stack it, plenty of bodies. Durga takes contact, flash round to the side, that's a quick dodge! Look at the wrist round to the side, into response though from Kicks and into response from Jonah B. That's a TP. Forced back out into the way, I don't think that was intentional. Flash forwards, good connection.
So this is really, really good. Again, and in particular, I want to highlight Jonah because Jonah, I think, played an insane game here with his util, and this is another good example of it, right? Because we are going to get this push down, and yes, Trent does a really good job of turning the flash and getting that kill, right? And their idea already, G2, seemed to be to do a kind of, somewhat fast, B split, right? That already seemed like that was on the cards for them. But just Jonah here, not dying, getting the stun off, making sure that no further aggro is coming his way, and then ulting, right? And this is what I talked about with this comp before, and we'll see it in the next round as well. That when this comp gets ults, it already, as we've, talked about, has a lot of overwhelm potential, right? Where you just get absolutely bombarded with util, right? well, when they add on to that ults as well, it sometimes just feels impossible to kind of win these rounds, because if you're playing as a team who knows what they're doing, like DRX did, if you don't go for anything aggressive here and just kind of sit off site or whatever, good teams now will just not use their ults. They'll wait until they feel that contact to actually use their ults. So if you just sit back, you're basically just losing. And if you go for something aggressive, you're probably just losing as well, because now this is going to be a perfect breach ult. Trex is going to get pushed into the TP. And Kix here is just going to be left to just die, right? He has nothing to really do here. He's also going to get Vice ulted. I mean, you're just going to see it again from him here. He's getting Vice ulted. It's a clone in his face. Another flash there. He's stunned. He's flashed. He's got no gun. I mean, the poor guy. I mean, Jonah P almost takes, pity on him there almost, not shooting him straight away. And now they have the site, and, they're completely on the other side of the map here, Vitality. Right, so already they're just in such a bad spot. We know retaking on B is extremely difficult, even more so when, you've got to travel the whole half of the map and waste half of the time before doing it. And so again, for G2, this is going to be pretty easy to close out.
I mean, the money is still all right for them. They still can commit to this one. The loss bonus, plus the money they got in the bank.
Slightest of angles that Leaf can play in. Steady hand going to be required, though, for what's coming ahead, because a lot of Vitality bodies, but the damage being done. Less dropped, makes it that much more unlikely, as everybody topples on the side of Vitality.
And then particularly for this comp on Bind, I think you get a good idea there as well with this comp, that we have so much overwhelm to kind of win that initial engagement and maybe get the spike down. And then once the spike is down, you have to think, okay, now you're competing with maybe Brim Molly, right? They're going to have maybe an Aftershock. They're going to have, potentially even the wall, but definitely Thorns to put down to stop you coming back in. You're looking at maybe Salvos if Trent is alive as well to spike denial, right? Like, you just start thinking about, like, when these rounds go well for G2, when that initial idea works, it feels almost impossible to then, try and salvage something back. And then with the game on the line, 12-11, Vitality take a timeout. What have we got planned? Well, as I say, sometimes when this comp has ults, you just don't stand a chance.
Maybe. Doesn't go for off rip, actually.
Conventional drift. Gate Crash is going to be making its way up towards B-Long. Gives his team the information. Last time we saw this one, Armageddon in the stun, in through the back, on top of it. Flashes in your face, and a spam to supplement!
I mean, yeah, this is just somewhat unstoppable, right? It genuinely feels like this is somewhat unstoppable, because with the Yoru ult, you're not going to find, too much aggro. And I find this interesting as well, that G2, they go for this smoke early in the TP. Perhaps realizing that that's probably the only way this goes wrong, right? Is that Jorgmo runs up here, comes towards backside, someone sticks in here, and they TP and, kill Leaf and are able to hold on to Hooker. That's probably the only way that this kind of goes wrong for them here. So they put the smoke there as well to make sure that that's less of a threat. But then, yeah, Jorgmo coming in here, and this is the thing again, right? It's like, against a Breach Teo, it's like, well, no matter where you go, when you're getting Yoru ulted, you're going to get stunned. The Teo ult's coming in on wherever you are. You can't stay in Hooker. Like, you might say, oh, say, if you stay in Hooker there, well, then he's just going to get stunned Teo ulted in there as well. So he's dead either way, right? It feels like one of those situations where it's maybe almost like one of you just has to take a death, right? Like, that's our best option, is just spread out, and one of you, we're playing 4v5. Because with the Salvos here as well, I mean, they end up dying, to Leaf and Jorgmo here as he's coming forward. But, I mean, they're about to die to the Salvos anyway, right? Like, there really isn't much way out of that. And, I mean, how do you stop that? And then again, it's like 5v3. Well, it's pretty much over, especially when Valorant plants and now has Brim ult, right? So now it's just like, what chance do we have, right? What chance do we have? And then we had Jorgmo TPing back here. He's now re-wrapping on Durka, who took this TP as well. Like, you just have no chance. And so we'd go to OT.
Your options are going to be running short as the time ticks. The hourglass runs dry. Ults are going to be held. Util out, spraying and praying. That is the hope. And Jorgmo right from behind as well. He'll grant you no mercy. OT. It's inevitable here for G2 unless Trex can pull off a miracle. With too much to work against.
And so, yeah, I think you can tell that this comp, it has legs. It has legs on multiple maps. I'm thinking that this is kind of where we're going. Yoru Breach Teo, until maybe something changes with one of the agents, or maybe the new agent comes out and is very good. Who knows? We'll see. But G2 eventually were able to take this to overtime thanks to their comp. and some of their ideas, and then ultimately would close it out.
Angle here by Durka. He's praying anybody waits in front of him, but that's going to be the drone. It spells out doom and defeat, doesn't it? Aftershock on top of it, just in case Jogmo wasn't enough. TP forward, but my god, man, getting ahead of your own util at that point. Trade it out. This Kicks was hard committed onto the corner, and they're going to be glad for it at that point. And okay, Wrangle with a rifle, coverage there into every possible avenue. G2 paved the way to a plant now onto this site, potentially to the map win. It's all down to safe, it's all down to less. 2 versus 4. Good clearance. There's up the potential question marks, but Valin wins his fight and Les reveals his hand. Molly won't save you there. Valin's feeling it.